for people who don't know Barry Group, I know a lot of people kind of, when I said I'm going down to Barry Group, they'd say, oh, are they the tea bag people? But you're not the tea bag people. Will you just tell everybody what Barry Group do?
We're certainly not the tea bag people, even though we have a very good relationship with that company. Wouldn't mind having shares in that company. No, we're not that company. We're a wholesale distribution company. We're based here in Mallow. In fact, this is our 60th year in business, so it's a very exciting year for us, and we're very up for it. We have a number of franchises, one called Cost Cutter, which is a convenience store format. We have an off-license group called Carryout, which is obviously an off-license format, and we have another convenience group called Quick Pick. We also would have a long heritage of dealing with a large number of independent retail customers. We would also do a lot of business with publicans, caterers, and we do quite a bit of export. So we've a nice business built up over the years, but it's predominantly grocery and alcohol. It's
a changing business. The landscape out there is changing all the time. It's a tough business.
Yeah, the business is tough for the last number of years. The economy has been difficult. There's new entrants into the market, but you know the market has been changing a lot over the years anyway. Regularly I meet some maybe ex-members of the trade and we talk about how things were back then and how they're now. But the trade has always been evolving, there's always been threats, and ultimately the companies that are able to evolve and read the market, they will be fine. So a lot of our time goes into where the market is going, and one of our challenges is to make sure that we keep our customers current and that we keep them where the market is. So a lot of innovation and innovation is going on at all times, so we keep evolving our offering, and our offering changes and the products we sell change. And today coffee is important, hot food, deli is important, and a number of years back it would have been ambient grocery only. So there's and you have to go with the market. When the market's changing, you go with it. So we always go with the market.
So it's a family business, and your dad passed the business on. So oftentimes what we'd see in Ireland, there were a lot of family businesses. That step can be quite a challenging step. Interestingly enough, when we hear about retirement ages, I've been told that your dad, James A., still turns up to the business every day, even though he's what age?
He's 85, going on 86. Retirement doesn't suit everybody, and if you're somebody who's worked hard all your life, you just can't stop working. So myself and my dad have a fantastic relationship, so it works fine, and I really like his presence still around. So he comes in every day, comes and goes as he pleases, and it adds to our family environment, which is something very important. We work very hard on trying to have a corporate, clever, wise strategy, but yet keep our family values, and he would be an important part of that still.
Absolutely. So you as the leader of the organisation now, I'm just interested to know how you've developed over the years in terms of maybe the style, because from a great place to work point of view, we do see that while everybody has to make it a great place to work, the leader is critically important in terms of that journey. But in general, how have you developed as a leader?
Well, I am somebody who always wants to improve myself. I would have played a reasonable amount of sport, and I probably have brought the teamwork ethic from sport into business, and I always see a parallel in both. I think that we certainly have challenged ourselves a lot more in the last number of years and put fresh challenges in front of ourselves, like entering this programme. We're one of the Deloitte's best managed. We got involved in the Ernst Young Entrepreneur of the Year programme, so we constantly put challenges and bigger ones over the years. Probably a key moment for me was on the Ernst Young CEO retreat in 2012. It was a week away. We were in Silicon Valley. And I had a moment where I just questioned both myself and our business. And I got an awful lot of insight as to how I could improve and how our company could improve. And that was probably the biggest change or improvement in my development over the years, which is in relative recent times.
So this is what you call an honesty attack?
Well, I call it an honesty attack. I'm not sure if that's the right thing, but for me, that's what I felt it was, because I was at I think a lecture the previous year in a previous trip, and one of the lectures, the actual topic was that people actually are very good at fooling themselves, and we are all guilty of that, and I took an awful lot from that, and it stayed with me, and I kind of challenged myself, and I looked at myself much closer, and I looked at our business closer, and by the time the next period came around, I was ready to kind of challenge myself big time and the company, and it was probably the best thing I ever did.
So what have you done differently with the business because of that honesty attack and reassessment?
I've altered my style, first of all, in that I probably have got better at communicating with my people. There's probably more direct style, but still a caring, fair side to me. One of the biggest things I've looked for is a lot more KPIs on non-financial things. We were very good on the financial KPIs always, and what I'm trying to do is empower more and more. But when you empower, you need your measures as well. So we've worked very hard on stroke empowerment and having proper measures, so we all know where we stand. I think my own confidence has risen. While the market is tough, it's very important that I need to be more bullish and take it on. So as my confidence rises, my team come with me. We've worked very hard at aligning our team better and bringing ourselves to a higher standard. And I think I've realised, while I always believe we're a good to very good company, we have to strive to be absolutely great. And all the guys are coming with me on that journey because, again, we have a very positive team. And we probably have brought ourselves to a fresh journey and a higher standard of journey. And it's actually quite exciting.
And one team, one plan is this kind of idea that you talked to me about. Well, rather than just sounding like a glib phrase or whatever, what does that actually mean and how has it changed the business?
Well, first of all, I've come to a conclusion that if we operate better as a team and have one plan, we'll be more effective. And it came from a background, we've had 8 teams in our business, and I felt that there was certain things getting lost in between the teams. And when I looked at it hard, that theory got backed up. So I formed the opinion that if we can form one team and have our 8 departments feeding into one team, now the plan has to be led, so our sales department are leading the plan, but all the other departments are then feeding into that plan. So everybody now feels more together, it's better alignment, it's better communication, it's better understanding of our plan. And all of a sudden, things got way tighter, there's a lot less going wrong, and our performance has gone way up.
So in the past, would you have felt that strategy was the preserve of the senior leadership team and that they should develop it and then just make it happen? But you've changed that.
Yeah, well, in effect, in all boards, I think strategy is the call of the board. We have spent a lot of money developing a number of our senior people over the last number of years. And one of the commitments we gave to our people after our last leadership development programme is that we would include them in strategy. So what we did this year, we took 2 days off-site with 18 people involved. We have 7 different business units, so all of our 18 people brainstormed all 7 of our business units. And it's one of the most fantastic things that we ever did. And the insight we got, the different views we got, and in fact we're meeting all the guys again next Wednesday, showing them the outputs of the whole thing. And I must say, we are changing quite a lot because of the various ideas and different perspectives that came in. And I know our guys were really happy to be included in the way they were, which was a genuine way rather than a token way, which may happen in some companies.
It's funny, earlier you were telling me about employees being happy, and I know when we talk about Great Place to Work, oftentimes people use that glib term about happy employees, but one of the things that makes your employees most happy is the fact that you measure them and you measure things, and they like having that sort of sense of knowing what's expected. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, everybody needs to know how well they're doing. Mm-hmm. It's almost like a scoreboard in a match. You need a scoreboard. And when we looked at our business, in hindsight, we didn't have enough scoreboards operating. We had loads of financials, but the non-financial is the big change we've made in the last 2 years. So we're measuring an awful lot more things, but we're also communicating much clearer to people what we need them to do. And it's all about, for me, providing a high quality service for our customers. We're in a very competitive market. And if we don't service them to a high standard, we will lose them. Now, we are a company who value our customers and team equally. That's our mantra always, because I honestly believe if you have an engaged team, your customer will get better service. But from a measurement perspective, we're now measuring a lot more things than what we were. But none of our people ever complain about being measured. In fact, they're happy, because most people want to do a good day's work. But sometimes people don't know, have I a good day or not? So we can now tell them. And you end up creating reasons to praise people, to acknowledge people. It's much better.
So this is an Indigenous Irish company. There's a lot of them out there, and when we use the word culture, they kind of go, oh sure, is that not for the big organisations? But you've used the word culture in our conversations a lot. How important is culture, and how would you kind of describe the culture of Barry Group?
I think culture is critical. I think it's very critical to be clear on the type of culture you want in your business. It goes back to when you're employing people, you need to employ people who you believe will fit into your culture and be comfortable in your culture. And I wouldn't pretend that our culture is for everybody, but we employ people who match our culture. It has to be positive, can-do attitude, hard-working, achievement. There's a number of qualities, but generally a positive place to work, but having fun as well. That's a very important part of our culture. You need to enjoy coming to work.
So a lot of hard-nosed business people would kind of say, what's this about having fun? What does fun mean for this business?
Fun means to me is just having a laugh at times. It means enjoying coming to work. It means getting on with your colleagues. Because if you're happy in your environment, you will produce the higher standard. I know everybody would not buy into that mindset, but I believe that personally. And every company has different styles. That's our style.
And you brought people away and got them into teams different from the teams they're normally at here, so they get to know each other, and that made a big impact.
Yeah, we had we do lots of team building,
sure.
But one of the most recent ones, people tend to cluster in the normal groups and who they know. So at one of our recent events, we deliberately broke people up, and the feedback we got, and in different groups, in order to get to know each other. And the feedback we got was fantastic because, we employ 230 people. You might assume everyone knows everybody. They don't, because we have a lot of guys working off site, we have truck drivers, we have different departments. So again, the more people know each other, that adds to the positive environment.
Okay, so can I ask you just broadly in terms of the people who inspire you, the people who you look to, who you admire, who when you get out of bed every morning, who you want to be kind of maybe emulate a little bit, who would they be?
Funny, that's not how my actual brain operates, would you believe?
Okay.
I'm more interested in, I suppose, both myself personally and our company providing a very high standard for my customers. And I'll think of some customers saying, well, are we pleasing these guys? Now, what I do to challenge myself and improve myself, I'll go to at least 10 or 12 conferences every year. And I like picking out some good speakers, could be Jack Black or these guys. And I will always pick up 3 or 4 things from all these speakers. And then I will try and fit them in to improve what we're doing. So we're continually adjusting our approach and our style. But I'm always looking to try and find areas better or areas for improvement. But no one kind of jumps out to me as, I think we're all ourselves. Okay. And I'm not sure I want to be like somebody else.
Okay. Well, maybe your dad is your inspiration. As
I must say,
over you.
I have a particular style and set of values. A lot of them come from my dad. And I think your dad or your people around you are often, you kind of take their lead, and you might, they certainly give you your early direction of the type of person you're going to be. But a lot of my qualities will be similar to his.
So you've got strong aspirations to grow this business, to really drive it forward. You're making serious changes. You're innovating constantly. You can only make those if there's a high level of trust in the business, and when you're challenging people, that they know you've got their best interests at heart. So how important is kind of that trust relationship with you?
Well, for me, it's critical. Like if I haven't got trust, I think you've got nothing if you haven't got trust. We have, for a long number of years, we've worked on building our trust. I think the true test of trust is when something goes wrong and how you're going to react. And I'll be honest, we have a very good history of reacting in a very decent way when things go wrong for both our team members or whatever. It's more than business. It has to be more than business. And when trust really comes in is when someone has a problem and do you step up to help them out. And as a company, we're good at that.
Okay. In terms of performance, because obviously being a great place to work means it's a high performance workplace. It goes hand in hand. Being a family business, everybody knows everybody in Mallow and generally in Cork. How has that made it difficult to deal with performance or underperformance?
I think over the years as a company we have developed, and certainly in the last 10, 15 years, we've got to a size business where we have to run to a very high standard. And what we try and do is get the balance right from being a corporate, run it to a corporate standard, but maintain the family values. And that's something that I always strive to do, and it makes us different from our competitors. And in my opinion, it gives us a competitive edge. Okay.
Key challenges that you faced over the last few years that maybe other people might learn from?
Key challenges, we're in a difficult market, so there's been a lot of evolving the market and innovation of the market, and it's critical to stay up to pace and ensure that you're actually at least at the front of the market, if not ahead of the market. So it's a constant challenge. I think in terms of myself personally as a leader, I have worked very hard on my communication to be absolutely crystal clear when I communicate to people. We've worked very hard on our strategy, and I think we've opened up our team to include a lot more people in what you call a circle of trust. And I think that is something that's worked very well. Sometimes in smaller business you're slow to trust people, but we would like to feel that we trust our people to a very high standard, and that creates an environment where you can do a lot more consultation and feel comfortable talking on sensitive things. I think the biggest thing as a company, what we're trying to do, we're aspiring to be great. That's the biggest thing, and everybody in the company, when the reason are chasing that goal now. That's something that was a step up for us. That might not have been our target before, but it's certainly our target now.
And finally, if I could just ask you, for other organisations, Indigenous Irish organisations, maybe family run or the like, who in some ways may be anxious about the idea of going into a programme like this, who may be fearful and think it's for the multinationals or the like, what would you say to those people, and what advice would you give them?
Well, as a company, our attitude has been is that we needed to keep putting fresh challenges in front of us at all times. We saw the Great Place to Work programme as a challenge. It is a challenge, but we saw it as a very positive challenge. And it's back to part of one of my core beliefs, is that our team is equally as important to our customers. And we all need help in every element of our business. And in relation to how we treat our people, this for me was a fantastic guide to guide us on our road to actually being a great place to work. It's just not about being a great place to work, you've got to be a really great place to work. And the programme gives you a great roadmap for achieving that. And I'm a believer that if you've got a positive team environment and a fully engaged team, that's going to help the customer service enormously and ultimately the bottom line performance. So for me, it's a no-brainer.
And in terms just of that people management ability, sometimes people find themselves in roles that maybe they're not the best people managers. Are you from the side that you believe you can improve as a people manager, or is it just you have those skills, you don't have those skills?
I think people can improve, but saying that people have a level that they can get to. And I think a programme like this, lots of honesty goes on. Like there's some people in our company who've got to a level and that's as far as they can go, and that's fine. And there are people who probably were in some positions that they weren't able to. That's fine too, you can bring them back and set them back. So a lot of it is about honesty, and we're all different individuals, we've all different strengths, and quite honestly, some people in maybe lower standard jobs in our business, they're still very important elements of service to our customer. You know, if our orders aren't picked properly, if our truck drivers don't do a good job, if our forklift drivers, everybody's role is important, but then people have different skills and they're good at different jobs. The one thing about this is we look a lot more at people, we look a lot more at their skills and their strengths, and I think we've got much better at finding suitable positions for people, and we have moved people around. And before, people would worry about changing, they don't anymore here, because if we change someone, there's probably a very good reason, and we'll probably find them a position that are more suitable. And this year, one of my big things in the last 12 months is I've been trying to get people playing in the team where they're best. Sometimes you have somebody who may have a job title, and parts of a job go with that they might not be suitable for. So we've said we're not interested in that. So it's about putting people in their optimum position on the pitch, and that's worked very well for us. So there's people who may have a title here, and the job might not fully match the title, but ultimately it's about putting people in their best position, and people tend to be happiest in their best position. Certainly the last 12-18 months we have done lots of that, and it's worked very well.
And on the way in, I saw the video of you doing the ice bucket challenge. Did you enjoy that?
That's still chilly. That was great fun.
Yeah.
You know, we all try to have fun here, and you know, all the leadership team want to have fun as well. It's not for the guys on the floor, so that's just part of the crack. Now, I did notice I went from a small bucket to a large barrel. I still haven't forgotten that. But no, it was great fun.
Great. Well, listen, congratulations on being nominated for the Most Trusted Leader, and continued success in your business, and also to your dad. May he turn up on an increasing amount of days. Don't work him too hard,
He's in every
okay?
day. Thanks very much.
That's great.
Thank
Thank you. Cheers.